Just making sure I can get the the live chat up on my phone here. All right, perfect. Looking good then. All right. This one's gonna be a little shorter than what I usually do. Got stuff I gotta do today, and before I keep going, Danny, I'm gonna send out a quick text to tell everyone I'm live. Boom. There we go. There you go. Watching from work. I've done that before. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm trying something a little different today. I usually take about 2 hours and write. Well, last time it was about 2,000 words, which is about 6 pages single spaced, as kind of a looks kind of like this. These are what my notes usually look like. Got break it down for everybody. I'd break down every matchup, and then keep going, and then picks, and then break up the matchups that are going to happen. So that's what I usually do, and it usually ends up being about 2,000 words. Today, I'm going to try it a little differently. I'm going to just try and wing it today, and we'll see. Yes, 2,000 more words than you, right, Danny? So today I'm actually trying it your way, Danny. I'm gonna just gonna go with it. See what happens. Just gonna kind of wing it, which means that we'll be spending most of the time in not that view. Going to spend most of the time looking like this. Ta-dum! All right. That being said, let's see. Let's go to here. Do that. That's what I wanted to do. Ta-da! There we go, it worked. All right, so let's go to the scoreboard. And I want week 8. Slowly catching up. Here we go. Oh. All right, there we go. Thanks for the trick, Danny. Load up week 8. All right, and let's gonna click this to start off with, and then we'll start here. There we go. Yeah, we got to get together sometime. Hopefully do at least one more live recording together before you guys move down to Ephraim. All right, so in this matchup of Danny and James, the quarterbacks, it really came down to the quarterbacks were fantastic against each other. I did call this the matchup of the quarterbacks, and it really was. It ended up being quite close, 94 to 80. So Danny wins by 14. Let's see, on Danny's side, Russell Wilson, 40.1. At home, I'm not surprised there. Kareem Hunt against the best run defense in the league, 6.8. Not too surprised there. I expect him to bounce back. Hopefully he gets a touchdown this week playing the Cowboys. They've been kind of generous to the run, so hopefully something good happens there. LeGarrette Blount, I expect that against San Francisco, grind it out. I'm not sure how good LeGarrette Blount's going to be. Oh, thank you, Danny. I try. The lighting in my room doesn't exactly always work out very well. Let me know if I should turn off that overhead light behind me and try that. But LeGarrette Blount, Jay Ajayi, has now been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, so we'll see who takes over the role of grind it out in games like this. They played San Francisco, expected a lot of runs there. They won handily. The score does not reflect how far apart these two teams actually were. Brandon Cooks struggled a little bit. He's been a little bit fluky. He'll have another good game, though. 8, 4, 30, 4, 8, 9, 12, 2. He flukes around a little bit, but he's still solid. Should have looked just now. He's ranked number 5 in total points. That 30 outlier kind of helps there, but he's still solid. Michael Thomas, good. Christian McCaffrey. I expect Christian McCaffrey to do even more now that Kelvin Benjamin is no longer with the Panthers. Eagles defense, Giorgio Tavecchio. Streaky. DeAndre Washington for Oakland was surprising. Kind of figured it'd be a timeshare, and it worked out in his favor. And Joe Mixon had a decent game, but he's definitely a running back 2, not a running back 1. Maybe even just a flex play. For James, Deshaun Watson in his final game of the season. I definitely agree. Oh, yeah, thanks, Danny, for telling everyone to sound off in the chat. That's okay, Andrew. I haven't done much. We're still in the first matchup here. And yeah, Danny, I agree with you. Brandon Cooks still a wide receiver 1 just because of that potential that he'll have. He gets a little fluky, but you'll take those couple of lower games that he'll give you because he'll give you the big games. So I'm perfectly fine with keeping Brandon Cooks at a wide receiver 1. Oh, that's right. You are still expecting Brandon Cooks to be the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. We have a slap bet on that one. I don't think so. Antonio Brown doing pretty good. So let's bounce back over to James. Deshaun Watson with 37.8. And for those of you who didn't know, we talked about it yesterday in the chat, but for those of you who forgot or need to be reminded, Deshaun Watson tore his ACL in a non-contact injury yesterday at practice. So he is out for the season. So, James, you're going to need a new quarterback. Duke Johnson against Minnesota. Didn't expect him to get much work there. And he got hurt, so Isaiah Crowell really jumped in and stole the rest as Cleveland was trying to get back in it. But that's another one where the score really doesn't show how far apart these two teams really were. Doug Baldwin didn't get much love there. Paul Richardson is really doing quite good. I'm liking him. Danny Amendola, again, kind of fluky, wide receiver 2 or a flex. Jimmy Graham, nice and solid. Demaryius Thomas, I just don't really know if I can trust anyone. I don't plan on owning anyone in the Denver passing game at any time for fantasy purposes. They're great NFL players, but their fantasy value is just fairly non-existent. I fully expected that there. I mean, you're playing in Seattle for the Texans. Hauschka did pretty good with the kicking. I already mentioned Crowell. Mike Wallace was out, and then Golden Tate. The Lions just had a terrible game. In a game where Matt Stafford threw for more than 400 yards, they didn't score a touchdown, which is just kind of sad. Yeah, and now that the Broncos are starting Brock Osweiler, Andrew, I don't see much improvement there. This one was a really close one. It really came down to C.J. Anderson getting a bit of love against Kansas City and pushing him over the edge. And yeah, Andrew, Alex Smith got you more points, but only 3 more points than Kirk Cousins did. That one was a close call. I really did expect Kirk Cousins to do more against Dallas. And since I'm over here with Andrew, I'll mix it up a little bit. Kirk Cousins, decent against Dallas. Not what you want out of your starting quarterback, but I'm okay with the pick that you did. That's right. It was the butt kicking kicker. That's right, Harrison Butker that got it for you there with the 21 points. The Dolphins D only got you 3 as they got blown out by Baltimore. C.J. Anderson 8.5, solid. Kenny Stills 6.5, 6. Chris Hogan injured. Don't know how long he'll be out, but they're worried that it's going to be several weeks with the way he was reacting. Mike Evans, Tampa Bay, just not quite doing what you'd hope. I mean, he's ranked 7, but 13-6, 12-4, 15-14. He's really only had 2 back-to-back good games. And playing against New Orleans, which is actually a decent pass defense this year, I'd be a little worried about Mike Evans this week. No one else to note because you only had Alex Smith. Everyone else was on a bye or injured. For Christian, Dak Prescott really struggled against Washington. I expected that to do better. And Matt Ryan did a little better than he has been, but he's still 21. So that puts him at QB3, really struggling this year. Jordan Howard had a great game. LaShawn McCoy had a great game. Fully expected both of those. T.Y. Hilton, I'm not expecting him to do much for the rest of the season, actually, with Andrew Luck officially not coming back this season. And T.Y. Hilton has only had 2 good games against San Francisco and Cleveland, 2 really bad pass defenses, and then any decent defense that he faces just absolutely gets wrecked. Hunter Henry surprisingly didn't do that much against a generous New England defense. Yeah, the things look good for Bobby going undefeated this year. But we'll see. Jerick McKinnon, fantastic. I definitely think that Jerick McKinnon is the running back to own in Minnesota, not Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray had the great week last week, but McKinnon has had 2 great weeks to Murray's 1. We'll see what happens this week, but I like McKinnon. The Broncos D, even though they lost, a nice 7 points there. Robbie Gould, a nice 5 points. On the bench, Tevin Coleman got some love in Atlanta, but that's also due to the fact that Devontae Freeman got hurt. Ted Ginn, fairly good game against Chicago, and then Buck Allen just didn't do much there because the other running back whose name escapes me for the minute, Alex Collins, got all of the love in that game. Moving right along. Yeah, I'll table that question for when we get to his team. Oh, there he is. Bobby. I'll table that question, actually, Brad, for when we get to his matchup this week. So, for Kyle, in his loss to Bobby, Jameis Winston really struggling. His shoulder really hasn't been back in the right shape. Doug Martin, I'm expecting him to do more actually this week against the Saints, but if they get behind, I expect him to do more early, but then I actually expect Tampa Bay to get behind and they'll have to start throwing it out, which will be difficult considering that Jameis Winston's shoulder is still bugging him. Jay Ajayi, who last week was not with Philadelphia, so that's actually funny that it says that he was with Philadelphia against San Francisco because he was definitely on the Dolphins against the Ravens this week in a shutout, and because they were so far behind, they had to abandon the run game. So 4.1, no surprise there. Tyreek Hill would have done a lot nicer, but unfortunately he threw an interception against Denver, so he would have only done a couple points nicer, but still through that interception drops him down a little bit. Kyle Rudolph did nice against Cleveland as expected. Latavius Murray put up decent points against Cleveland, but like I said, Jerick McKinnon back to own. The Vikings, solid showing there. And Matt Prater, thanks to his 5 field goals, that was just a sad game to watch. The Lions got down into the red zone 5 times. As you can see, well, all of his kicks. Let's see, he kicked 5, attempted 5, made 5. Only a couple of them were outside of 30 yards. So just really, really rough game there. Alshon Jeffrey did nicely against San Francisco, as I expected. Kelvin Benjamin against Oakland didn't do anything. Well, 9.9 is decent, but not great. Yeah, the kicker was his top scorer. And it's not even close. His second top scorer was his defense, the only 2 that got double-digit points. Kind of rough there, Kyle. Kenny Golladay out on injury. Kelvin Benjamin in his final game, again, didn't play Oakland. In his final game for the Panthers against the Bucs, did 9.9, which was nice. But now he is with Buffalo. Did not play last night and was in Kyle's starting lineup. I did not expect him to play. I benched him in a couple of leagues because he'd just gotten traded on Tuesday. Didn't have enough time to learn the playbook by Thursday. For Bobby's side of the ball, 16.7 from Tyrod Taylor, which is nice. He's been a decent fill-in for Aaron Rodgers, but who would have thunk should have started Matt Stafford there with 23. He still won, so not too bad there. Le'Veon Bell did nice against Detroit, 12.1. Le'Veon Bell, the number 4 back in our league on a bye this week. Chris Thompson, 7.4. Not a fluke. He's going to keep getting solid. He's the running back to own in Washington, and I really don't want any other back, not even Fat Rob. Michael Crabtree, solid there. Zach Ertz, little down from normal with 9.4, but still nice and solid. The now number 2 tight end in our league because Travis Kelce had a fantastic game. On my bench, Carlos Hyde, 4.7, and Seahawks D6, Jake Elliott, 10. Jake Elliott, solid kicker. Matt Stafford's really the only one to note here. Matt Bryant got 14 points. I would have started Jake Elliott too. No surprises there. Amari Cooper's the receiver I'd like to own because of his consistency. Yeah, he does have those couple of games where he just goes monstrous, but consistency-wise, Michael Crabtree's the one to own in Oakland. Other than that, Jonathan Stewart, he's the grinded out back for the Panthers. I expect that to keep rolling. Moving on to Bischoff at Taylor. Unfortunately, I was wrong on a lot of calls this week, guys, and this is one of them. Tom Brady did good against the Chargers. Devontae Freeman did get injured, so only the 6.1 there. Fat Rob, 7.9, which, yeah, it's decent, but I still don't really want him because Chris Thompson will vulture a lot. He did get the 1 rushing touchdown, but they really love Chris Thompson, and Rob Kelly has trouble staying healthy. Pierre Garçon, out for the season now, Bischoff, so he is officially on IR because of his neck injury and will no longer be in San Francisco for the rest of the year. Wow, there's 7 of you watching? Who all is watching? So yeah, in San Francisco now, there's no pass catcher that I would want to own. And not really loving any of the running backs either. I mean, Carlos Hyde has been okay, but not loving that. Des Bryant didn't do much against Washington. Stephon Diggs struggled against Cleveland. The Chiefs put up some nice points on your Broncos there, Andrew. And Gotskowski did what he does, 12 solid points. On the bench, the only one of note here, I actually expected Aguilar to have a nicer game, so nice call there, benching him. But Will Fuller, 27.5 points. I'm worried now with Will Fuller playing with Tom Savage as his quarterback. Tom Savage doesn't have the depth or accuracy that Deshaun Watson has been showing. I'm still going to start Will Fuller in one of my leagues this week because I'm going to hope. Yeah, I am watching on my phone, so six people watching, not including myself. So I'm a little worried about Will Fuller, but I expect him to still have potential. For Taylor, Carson Wentz did nice against San Francisco. I actually expected him to do a little better, but he still did pretty good. Alex Collins, fantastic game against Miami. He is now the back that I would want to own in Baltimore, because our league is standard scoring, not PPR. Marvin Jones had a nice game. Julio Jones has just really struggled this year, guys. I'm not sure he's going to end up as a wide receiver 1. I'm not even sure he's going to end up as a wide receiver 2. Devin Funchess, I expect to get more love, but this game, little not so much. Gronk did what Gronk does. I think he's number 3 in our league. Yep, number 3. Boom, right there. Steelers, because of all the yards that were put up on them, 0. Justin Tucker, nice game against Miami. On the bench, Adam Thielen's the only one here to note. He's solid. I like him. Keep him. I'd roll him out more often, but not this week. The Bills, 12 points against Oakland, which was nice there. Marshawn Lynch was suspended. Cameron Brate, 6.4. Nice job keeping him on your bench. Then brings that to me and Brad. And Brad beat me because I was an idiot and put certain people on my bench who should not have been on my bench, namely Travis Kelce. And I guess technically Drew Brees would have got me 1.3 points more. But, right there. I expected Jordan Reed to do more, but then he got injured. That shows me for benching Kelce. I'm an idiot. Zeke did great. Alvin Kamara, I really like his potential. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, both starters. As you can see, Mark Ingram 11.9, Alvin Kamara 13.6. Love it. Antonio Brown did a solid 7. I think he's still wide receiver 1. Yep, ranked 1. AJ Green, nice points against the Colts. Jordan Reed got injured. The Saints, nice points against Chicago. And Kai Forbath, nice points against Cleveland. On the bench, Drew Brees, yeah, should have had him. Travis Kelce, Bilal Powell. That's really it. On Brad's side of the ball, Cam Newton, not doing too much there. And Derek Carr not doing too much better on the bench. Mark Ingram did nice. Lamar Miller did really nice. I didn't expect him to do that well, but well done there. Same with DeAndre Hopkins. 33.4 points against Seattle. But you still lost that one, Texans. So, sorry. Jarvis Landry, I expected him to do better. Jalen Richard, I would have started him over Frank Gore, as you did. But Frank Gore ended up being better, and he's really the only one to note on the bench. And with that, let's see, go. Let's see if I can actually hit the right button here. Boom. There we go. Don't need that. So I can go to the schedule. So, the update for Pick'em, I picked up a couple of games on Danny. Danny now has 67 correct to my 64. I called it for the Bills last night. I was wrong. The Jets won. But for the rest of the week, Baltimore at Tennessee. Give me the Ravens in that one. I'm just going to bust through this one really quick. Yeah, I know. Danny chose you to win. I chose me. I'm always going to choose me because I'm biased that way. Yeah, and you're right, Andrew. Julio isn't doing so good because Matty Ice isn't doing so good. Yeah, Danny, you chose it to spite me. Let's see. So we got the Bucks at the Saints. Give me the Saints. The Saints are on a roll. Bucks are struggling a little bit. Injured quarterback. Great defense. Give me the Saints. The Rams at New York. Give me the Rams at the Giants. Yeah, that's the end of that. The Broncos at the Eagles. Give me the Eagles. Eagles are rolling. They've only lost once. Currently the number 1 team in the NFL. So give me the Eagles. And unfortunately for you, Andrew, I think that the Broncos slide to a 3rd straight loss. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Sorry about that, Andrew, but your Broncos stink this year. That's also quarterback issues there. Falcons at Panthers. Give me the Falcons. Even though they're struggling, I think that they can pull this one off. I think they might be able to turn it around. The Bengals at the Jaguars. Give me the Jaguars in this one. I think that the Jaguars get a little nice game here. Colts at Texans. Give me the Texans. Even with their quarterback gone, the Colts just have nothing going for them. Give me Texans. Cardinals at San Francisco. I'm actually going to take San Francisco on this one, guys. Am I crazy? Tell me if I'm crazy. Yep, I'm crazy. Yep, so there we go. Yeah, I agree, Andrew. Arizona versus San Francisco, dumpster fire game of the week. You know what? I'm actually going to change that. I'm not going to be crazy. I'm going to go Cards. If Jimmy Garoppolo, who was just traded, was actually going to start, I would pick the Niners. But with Pierre Garçon out, with no Jimmy Garoppolo, give me Arizona. Give me Arizona in this one. Washington at Seattle. Give me the Seahawks all day, every day, especially at home. Chiefs at Cowboys. Give me the Chiefs. They had a nice look against the Broncos, and even though I think this could be potentially the highest scoring game of the week, give me the Chiefs. Raiders at Dolphins. Yeah, I agree. Dolphins are struggling. Oakland is kind of struggling. In a coin toss, give me the Raiders, though, because the Dolphins just looked horrible last week. And then Monday night, Lions at Packers. Give me the Lions. They've actually looked pretty good, so give me the Lions there. Now let's pop back over here to look at the matchups of this week. Yeah, but even though Pierre Garçon was trash, he was still their best receiver. But it's not like he was really that much worth having anyways. So both Christian and Andrew asked me a question this week. So I will answer your respective questions when we get to your respective matchups. But I'm just going to bust through these really quick because I've actually got stuff I've got to do today. So for Brad at Kyle, Cam Newton, I expect him to do okay against Atlanta if he can stay healthy. But I actually like Derek Carr at Miami better, Brad. But that's just me. I know, Andrew. I wish that I could have this be my job. That would be very nice. Like I would love to do this full time as an actual job. But as I was saying, I'd maybe start Derek Carr at Miami over Cam Newton at Atlanta. But just because Cam Newton's questionable, I think they could both have really nice games. I like Mark Ingram at Tampa Bay. I think the Saints get up early and they run it out. I love Lamar Miller at the Colts if he can stay healthy, especially with Tom Savage now as the quarterback, which makes me a little worried for DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll see how Tom Savage does with how DeAndre Hopkins does with Tom Savage now as the quarterback. If week 1 was any indication, he should do okay. So hopefully that keeps rolling. I expect Jarvis Landry to have a nice bounce back game. and I expect Adrian Peterson to score huge at San Francisco. The Cardinals have said that they're just going to feed the beast. Their offensive coordinator said, we will feed the beast of Adrian Peterson against San Francisco. And I expect the Lions defense to do well and Will Lutz to do decent. On the bench, I don't know that there's anyone I would switch out. If you feel nervous about Hopkins, Shepard might be nice, but not really. I don't think I'd switch out DeMarco Murray for anyone. So I like your other than maybe Carr in for Newton. I like your lineup there, Brad. On Kyle's side of the ball, Kyle started Kelvin Benjamin expecting him to play, but he didn't. I do like Marcus Mariota against Baltimore. Doug Martin, he'll have to perform early for him to do well. Don't love that. Don't love J.J. against Denver. J.J. has been fairly ineffective all year. Granted, the Philadelphia offensive line is better than Miami's, but still don't love that matchup there. I do like Tyreek Hill. I think he can have a breakout game this week. Don't love Alshon Jeffrey against Denver either, but looking at who you've got on the bench, there's really no one I would trade in for him. The Colts at Houston don't particularly love that, but I mean, your Vikings were on a bye, so you had to pick up who you had to pick up. I do like Matt Prater at Green Bay, though. Moving right along. All right. 0's a number. Horsepower. Oh, I didn't call that matchup. I'm going to call it in favor of Brad. Yes, ground control. I'm gonna call it in favor of Brad, that last matchup there. For Danny, I love Russell Wilson at home every time. I think Kareem Hunt has a nice game against Dallas for the same reasons as Ajayi. Don't love LeGarrette Blount against Denver, just because, I mean, look at what Kareem Hunt did against them last week. However, if anyone's going to score a touchdown on Denver this year, I actually think LeGarrette Blount has a nice game and has the potential to score the touchdown this week. Devontae Adams, like that. Let's see, how's he been doing with last week he struggled, but 2 weeks ago he struggled because they were on a bye this past week, but I think he has potential against Detroit. I like Michael Thomas against Tampa. I really love Christian McCaffrey against Atlanta with Kelvin Benjamin gone. That's just more passes that Caffrey's going to get. Love the Jaguars against the Bengals. Love that. On your bench, Joe Mixon against Jacksonville. Yeah, don't love that. Eagles defense against Denver. Don't love that. DeAndre Washington. Yeah, no one I'd really switch out there. That gets us into Andrew's question. Andrew asked if he should start Robbie Anderson or Paul Richardson. He ended up starting both of them, and it worked out, but I'm still going to give you my quick answer. Yeah, not a bad bye week fill-in there. Danny. Yeah, I mean, you don't really have any other options. So here's what I looked at. Robbie Anderson was facing the Bills, which were ranked going into the game the 29th passing defense. The Jets were the 21st passing offense, and the Jets were 8th in passing yards in the NFL, and Anderson 21st in receiving yards. He'd had 3 touchdowns, tied for 23rd, and 31 receptions, tied for 27th. This is all based on the rankings is based on yards per game. Paul Richardson, 5 touchdowns, tied for 6th, and most in Seattle, and he has 22 receptions, and he's ranked 51. He's facing the Redskins at home. The Seahawks are at home, and the Redskins are the 13th passing defense, whereas Seattle is the number 3 passing offense in yards per game. And Seattle is 12th in total passing yards on the season. Richardson is currently number 36 in the NFL in receiving yards. My take, Anderson has the higher floor, and he did quite well for you, and will be good, as he was. But Richardson has a decent floor too, but a higher ceiling. If I had to choose one, I would play Richardson, but I did like both. So good call there, Andrew, playing both. So I expect Richardson to have a nice game. I expect Alex Smith to have a nice game. Leonard Fournette, he's healthy against Cincy. He's gonna just bang them all over, and that was really bad phraseology. He's gonna run all over them. Mike Evans, don't love against New Orleans. C.J. Anderson, don't particularly love against Philly. Rams defense, I do love that, and the Rams kicker, I do love that. But I don't know, maybe you'll regret not putting Butker in. Kirk Cousins, don't love that, so nice call on Alex Smith. Devontae Parker, I don't know. Cooper Kupp, not expecting much, although Janoris Jenkins is not starting for the Giants. Kenny Stills, don't really love that. So no one really I'd change out, except maybe Butker. Maybe Dallas has the bend but don't break, and Butker ends up kicking more field goals, whereas Zerline ends up just kicking PATs. Moving on to the next matchup. Christian just for those of you who hadn't noticed, Christian was just responding to our chat where he was expecting Morris to get him some points there. But nope, Zeke's back. For those of you who don't know, Zeke's back, guys. Now, that brings us to James at... I'm going to call... That's 2 in a row that I forgot to call. I'm going to call this one... This one's actually hard. This one is probably the closest. I think that this one will be our closest matchup. But, I like Wilson over Smith. I like Fournette over Hunt. I like Evans over Blunt. Anderson over Adams. Richardson over Thomas. McCaffrey over Anderson. I'm going to call this one in favor of Andrew, guys. I think Andrew gets a win here. And that at the end of this, both Andrew and Danny will be 5-4. So, Andrew, I'm calling it for you. But that, like I said, that one's a hard one. James and Bobby don't like Brent Hundley, don't like Drake so much. That's going to be a timeshare until they figure out who the starting guy is going to be. I do like Dougie, don't like Nelson, don't like Thomas, do like Jimmy Graham, do like the Texans, do like Suck Up. On the bench, maybe I would actually put in Golden Tate over... I would actually start Golden Tate over Jordy Nelson. Sammy Watkins I would drop. Deshaun Watson I'd hold on to. I like the Texans D better. So the only one I'd look at putting in here is Golden Tate. But I don't think that's going to help because Tyrod Taylor obviously did good, and I liked that matchup even though the Buffaloes lost. The Buffalo Bills lost. Sorry, the Buffaloes. Yeah. Don't like Hyde against Arizona. Don't like Thompson against Seattle. I do like Crabtree. I do like Ertz. Look what Denver did against the tight end last week. Abdullah will be okay, I think. Seahawks D, I like that. Matt Bryant, I like that. I would actually consider switching out Jonathan Stewart for Amir Abdullah just because McCaffrey will definitely be used more in the passing game, which leaves more actual run plays open for... Yeah, Tori would never say that. Yeah, it's definitely Danny. So I'm going to call this one in favor of Bobby, guys. I really got to hurry. I've got like 5 minutes before I got to start doing some stuff. And yes, Andrew, sadly, I do have to do stuff. Christian and Bischoff. Unfortunately for Christian, I don't think things get much better this week. I do like Dak Prescott. I liked LaShawn McCoy against the Jets, but then that happened. I don't love Buck Allen against Tennessee, but I think he has potential. Ooh, Christian also asked a question. Christian asked if he should start Ted Ginn or T.Y. Hilton. On the year, Ted Ginn has 2 touchdowns to Hilton's 1. Ginn has 421 receiving yards to Hilton's 527. But Hilton has only 8 more receptions at 29 to Ginn's 21. The Colts are ranked 27th in pass yards per game, and the Texans rank 22nd in pass defense, whereas the Saints rank number 4 in pass yards per game against Tampa Bay's number 30 pass defense. Hilton has struggled. I like Ginn. He has 1 more touchdown. Give me Ginn. Right choice there to sit Hilton. Jack Doyle I like. Tevin Coleman I like, especially if Devontae Freeman keeps that little questionable there. And I do like the Broncos D against Philly, but I don't expect big points out of them, just positive points, like a 1 or a 2. On the bench, no one really I'd look at. Alfred Morris, definitely no, since Zeke's back. Manuel Sanders, no. Hilton, no. Ryan, no. Hearns, no. So, yeah, Christian's got exactly what I think he should play. I do like Goff against the Giants. If Freeman can be healthy, I like that. Don't love Rob Kelly. Will Fuller, I am a little worried about, but I still think he has potential. Des Bryant, I think he has potential. I do love Aaron Jones here. I like the Chiefs' defense, but don't love it. Blair Walsh, I like that. Nelson Aguilar wouldn't start. Jason Witten wouldn't start. Derrick Henry wouldn't start. Jermaine Kearse, I wouldn't have started, and good call there to not. I'm going to call this one. Unfortunately, Christian slides to 0-9. Bischoff raises to 5-4. Which brings us to Taylor versus me. And things are looking good for me so far since the Bills got wrecked by the Jets. You think Christian's going to win this one, Danny? Yeah, only 1 or 2 points for Denver. Philly is the best offense in the league right now. So, gonna bust through this really fast. Wentz at Denver, don't like that. Gurley at Giants, love that. Collins at Tennessee, like that. Julio Jones is a not love. Larry Fitzgerald, I like his potential. Marvin Jones, bit fluky, but his usage is going up, so I do like Jones. He's not a love. He's exactly where I would put him in the flex. The Bills at the Jets, I actually liked it, but I like that better. Justin Tucker, I do like. I actually like Devin Funchess this week because no more Kelvin Benjamin, but everyone else is on a bye and I wouldn't start them. So, nice setup there. For me, Breeze at Tampa Bay, I really like the potential here. Zeke is back against a generous Kansas City run defense. I love Alvin Kamara. AJ Green, I'm a little worried about because Jacksonville is really nice, but I think that Green can do some work there. I do like Kelsey against Dallas. I like Evan Ingram against the Rams. I like the Cardinals D. Likes, not loves there. Choosing my words carefully. I might end up regretting not having played Bilal Powell. So yeah, I'm not gonna pick Taylor on this one. I'm definitely gonna pick myself. Zeke, gonna go crazy. And too many hates on Taylor's side. So completely unbiased. Yeah, not really. No, definitely picking myself there, guys. Definitely doing that. That just about wraps it up. Gonna do this. Gonna do that. Gonna do that. Gonna make this bigger. There we go. All right, so that just about covers it, guys. Don't actually know how long that ended up being, but that's the end of that. So have a great week, have fun, and we'll see you next week.